Okay, gang, we're back at it. 5.3. This is now example 3. All right, so as I've been saying, I first want you to isolate it. So I'm going to move the 2 to the other side. I'm then going to divide off the -4, which is going to leave me with +1/2. I'm then going to take the square root of both sides. I'm going to simplify this as much as I can, which is going to give me that. Now this is technically 2 answers. This is sine where it's +1/radical 2 and -1/radical 2. You're free on the final the test 3 final combo to put both these answers on one graph. I'm just going to split it just so people can see how it breaks down more clear. So the sign is positive in quadrant 1 and 2. Okay, so opposite hypotenuse. So 1/radical 2. So this has to be a 1 because I have the triangles memorized, which means this is a 45 degree. This is a 45 degree. So I'll do it the long way and then we'll talk about if it collapses, okay? So the first answer here, this one, would be pi/4 plus all its coterminal angles, 2πn. This guy in standard position is pi minus pi/4, which is 3π/4 in standard position. You have to give a quadrant 2 angle. So the second answer here would be 3π/4 with all its coterminal angles, right? All the angles that stop here. Right, there's an infinite amount, so that's why we're writing an equation. All right, the sign is negative here and here. That's just from the negative, and then these are the sides. Opposite is 1. Opposite is 1, and you should know the third side from memorizing this stuff. That means the reference angle is pi/4 from memorizing this stuff. Okay, now let me get the reference. Right now they're reference angles, so let's convert them. All right, the first one is going to be pi plus pi/4, which is 5π/4. The next one is going to be 2π minus pi/4, which is going to be 7π/4. All right, so the long answer then for this is going to be this one. The third answer is 5π/4 plus 2πn. And the fourth answer, this guy here, is 7π/4 plus 2πn. So that is the infinite amount of answers for each of those individual positions. Okay, so now the question is does anybody condense? Does anybody condense? Okay, so now let me put it together and see if you could see it. So if you notice, all the reference angles are pi/4. Okay, so that means that the distance from here to here, from this guy to this guy, is pi/2. The distance from this guy to this guy is pi/2. The distance from this guy to this guy is pi/2. The distance from this guy to this guy is pi/2. And so what I was trying to tell you in the last videos is that you can collapse the answer if the distance between the answers are equal. Right, if the jump from one answer to the next answer is equal. And in this case, they are all equal. So, which means it collapses into one answer. So what you always do is you start with the first one. So in standard position, this is the first one, it's pi/4. For me to get to the next answer, I have to add pi/2. And I'm going to say pi/2n because that means I'm going to jump once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, right? You're just going to keep jumping this pi/2. You just keep jumping it. So this says start at pi/4 and then just keep jumping pi/2 to get to the next answer, right? So this actually generates all the answers for this problem. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I'll just do one more, and let me just specify, if they say, for instance, on the test and the homework, and they will, so this guy here is all solutions, but if you wanted specific solutions, like if the original question said, okay, I only want solutions from 0 to 4 pi, then you would just generate enough solutions till you got up to 4 pi. Now, in this case, that would be a ton of answers, but you would basically keep plugging in a specific value for n until the output exceeded pi over 4, right? You would keep plugging in n and crunching out what this x would equal until you got to this limit. All right, I'm not going to do it on this one because that is just going to be way, way too many answers. All right, gang, that's it on this video. I'll catch you. Bye.